All right, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Brendan Fowler. I'm an account rep with Visual Sound. Just here to thank everybody for coming in to one of Corey's presentations. Corey Freed is our education consultant with Visual Sound. As you can see, as you probably already know, today's presentation is Whiteboarding Without a Whiteboard. We welcome everybody to put their email into the chat session so that we can make sure you get all the proper resources. This is not something we do for marketing. This is strictly to make sure you guys get what you need. Certainly put any questions you have in there along the way. I will monitor it as Corey makes the presentation. But thank you all again for coming. And without further ado, Corey, thank you and good luck.
All right, thank you everyone. And just as a reminder, in case you didn't notice, in the top left corner, there is a record button. This session is being recorded so that we can post it onto YouTube later for reference. The chat box is not going to be on YouTube, so don't worry about anything you type, but if you do come off of mute and ask questions, your voice will be on the recording, etc. So welcome to today's session. It is Whiteboarding Without a Whiteboard. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be talking about a couple different resources online that you can use with your webinar softwares to help you write on your computers for your students. If you do not have a touchscreen computer, there are a few options that we'll be talking about as we continue on. So, oops. As I skip right to the slide that says how to do it without a touchscreen. So some of our software options that you are probably using in your classrooms. You are probably already using either Google, Microsoft, or Zoom. So the whiteboard is built into Zoom. There is no whiteboard built into Microsoft and Google right now, but they do both offer a whiteboard option if you share your screen. So we will be talking about the whiteboarding options along with what's built into products and what is a separate screen share product. So if you do not have a touch screen on your computer, which a lot of people don't. If you have a MacBook, there's no touch screen. But if you have an iPad or a cell phone, what you can do is you can add your phone to the class as if it is another participant. And that way you're able to write on the touch screen, which makes it a little easier for you as a teacher. So that way, you know, you could read the handwriting. Because if any of you have ever tried to type with a mouse or with a touchpad, it is kind of difficult to write neatly. And I'm just giving me 1 second. We're letting a few more people into the chat right now. All right. So the first option we're going to look at today is Smart Learning Suite Online. Smart Learning Suite Online and also Smart Notebook 19 are normally associated with your smart boards. However, they are very resourceful for using your computer because they both give you that option of writing on your screen. If you are going to use Smart Learning Suite Online, what you would need to do is you would need to create a blank slide. And as you can see on the side of your slide, you would have your pen options and your eraser. If you want to have the full functionality of Smart Notebook and you are going to be screen sharing anyway, I highly recommend opening Smart Notebook 19 directly on your computer because now you will have your entire pen options. You will be able to insert images, draw lines, draw shapes, everything that you can do on Smart Notebook because obviously you're just sharing your notebook screen. And I will be going out of the slides after to show you some demonstrations of how the different resources look because some of them are actually better than others in terms of handwriting and such. So the next option is Microsoft Whiteboard. Microsoft Whiteboard is built into your Windows 10 devices. So if you have any computer with Windows 10, you most likely already do have Windows 10, or you most likely do already have Microsoft Whiteboard. Its icon is this right here. It looks like a blue screen with a pen. If you don't have a Microsoft computer or you need something cloud-based because you're on a tablet, you can access it through Office 365 as well. In Office 365, there are less options. So while Microsoft Whiteboard on your Windows 10 device has a ton of things such as inserting PDFs, inserting images, inserting all this stuff, the whiteboard on Office 365 is just the pens and the erasers. So very similar to Smart in that way. They're both much better on the hardware side than on the web side, but they are both possible in the cloud and on the computer. The next whiteboard we're going to look at is the one that is built into Zoom. So if you are using Zoom with your students, when you click the share screen option, besides seeing your current screen, you will see two extra choices. You will see an option for a whiteboard, and you will see an option for an iPhone or an iPad. So as I was saying before, you can always connect your touchscreen devices to your call. Zoom actually has it built in to connect that iPhone or iPad without trying to connect an extra microphone or connect an extra person. It would legitimately be you on two separate devices. So that would be the option if you're going to use Zoom, so that you can do it directly into the share screen. If you would rather use Smart Notebook or Microsoft or any of the other whiteboarding options we discuss, you can do that in Zoom as well by sharing your screen, the same way you would do it with Microsoft Teams or Google Meet. The next whiteboard that we're going to look at is the Google Jamboard. So if you are a G Suite school, when you go to Google Suite and you click More, you will see Google Jamboard is one of the options. The Google Jamboard is obviously a cloud-based whiteboard, and what it allows you to do is write directly in. You also have the ability to collaborate. So just like any other Google Doc, if you are using Google Jamboard, you can invite your students and everyone can write at once on the same screen. The last whiteboard that I'm going to show you today is going to be Whiteboard.Fee. Now, Whiteboard.Fee is a newer website, so I have only played around with it a few times, but it is an amazing resource because there is no logging in, there is no account. You just open up the website, say New Whiteboard, and it opens a whiteboard with all the pen options. What it also does is it gives you a code. So your students can also come into the whiteboard. Again, there is no registration, there's no sign up, it's just logging in, and not even logging in, it's just opening the website. When you open the website and your students open the website, they can see your board, you can see all of their boards, but they can't see each other's. When you close out of the room at the end of your class, when you log out of the website, it will delete all the whiteboards. So if you are going to use Whiteboard.Fee with your students, I would recommend taking a screenshot before you close out. That way you have a saved copy of anything that you write. So looking at the toolbars of the different whiteboards that are available to you, we have a couple options and you'll notice they're very similar. They all have a pen, they all have an eraser. The things that start to change between the different programs are going to be the ability to insert images, the ability to insert notes, the ability to insert PDFs, save files. One program, for example, the Google Jamboard has this laser feature. It's almost like an invisible ink. So as you write, it draws a red line and it disappears within 3 seconds. So it's supposed to kind of simulate a laser pointer, but it lets you help pull attention to your students. So what we're going to do is I have one more slide to show you, and then we're going to go out of the presentation so I can show you the actual whiteboards in action. So this right here is for those teachers that like to have a document camera. Obviously, we were unaware that we weren't going to be going back to schools for a while, so you probably didn't take the document camera from your classroom home with you. So what a couple of people have done, as you can see in these screenshots, is they have taken milk crates or cardboard boxes, and they have found a way to, the same way I said you can use your iPad to stream to your classroom to use it as a whiteboard. Brittany, I see you just asked how to find a Jamboard. I am going to show you that in about 30 seconds. So like with the same way you would share your iPad, you can set your iPad up, just kind of find a way to raise it up a little bit so you can have the camera aimed down. That's why the milk crates are so great, because they already have holes in them. Or you can take a cardboard box and cut a hole. And then you could put your papers or your books underneath the camera and use your iPad, iPhone, or whatever other device as a document camera. So we're going to go out right now, and I am going to show you first. I am going to start with Microsoft Whiteboard. So give me one moment to switch my screens. All right, so the whiteboard should be coming up. So this right here is Microsoft Whiteboard that is built into Microsoft 10. If you were to go to the Microsoft Start menu and you type in the word whiteboard, that is how you can find it. If it is not there when you start typing in the whiteboard, you would need to go to your Microsoft Store and just download it. But it is a free download. It comes with Microsoft 10. When you wanted to create that new whiteboard, you would just click on the plus sign and a whiteboard opens up immediately. As you can see on the bottom of the screen, you have pen options. My favorite is this Galaxy pen, which I'll show you in a second why. As you can see, you can pick any color. But the Galaxy pen is my favorite because as you write, it changes colors. The rainbow pen does the same thing. You can change the thickness of the colors. So if you wanted to do math, you can write your math problems. And then I hope you notice in this top corner, you have the little share button, because just like any other Office 365 file, you can share this whiteboard as well. So you can allow multiple people to be writing on this. You can share it out to your students. And if you're using Microsoft Whiteboard, but you're a Google school, you can still share this in Google Classroom. You can get a link for it. You could also, as you are finished with class, you can go into the menu and you can save the file as a picture, and that picture can be uploaded to your Google Classroom. So don't worry about kind of going between Microsoft and Google. If you are more comfortable on this whiteboard than the Jamboard that I show you next, you are more than welcome to use this. The other feature, just really quickly in Microsoft, is when you click the menu, as you can see, there are a lot of different options of the type of files you can put. You can import a PDF. If you were to import a PDF, and I have an example of that right here, when this opens, you'll see the PDF was right there. And you can come in, and again, you can share this with your students, but you can come in and you can do your math right on the board. I'm not going to solve the whole math problem for you, but so you can write directly on those PDFs. So it's a very good resource to have when you need to have it. All right, so the next whiteboard I'm going to show you is Smart Learning Suite Online. As I mentioned with Smart Learning Suite Online, you will have to create a blank page first. So what you would do is you would go to Add Activity, and then just New Page. If you want to give this new page a title when it opens up, you can type a title in, or you can just delete the prefab text boxes that it has. Then click Finish Editing. The reason you have to click Finish Editing is because there is no pen option in the edit of Smart Learning Suite Online. There is only a text box and an insert image. Once you have hit start the presentation, you now have your pen option on the left. You also have the option to add a new blank slide. So you can come over here and click your pen and write directly on your notepad. If you need a new blank page, you can add those blank pages as you go along. And again, just pick your pen from the side and keep writing. So that would be Smart Learning Suite Online. Now, if you wanted to use Smart Notebook so that you have all the features, we can open up Smart Notebook. And the same way that I'm sharing my screen with you right now, you can share the full Smart Notebook as it loads. And what you would now have is all the abilities of your Smart Notebook. So you would have your handwriting to text, you would have your insert images, you would have your lines, your shapes, all of those things. So that's the reason why if you're going to be doing screen sharing, I actually do recommend Smart Notebook over Smart Learning Suite Online. If you are going to be sharing the file to your students, obviously Smart Learning Suite Online is better for sharing. The other thing I would want to point out to you is that you can install Smart Notebook on your personal computer if you have a school account. What you would need to do is you come up here to Account and you log in with your school account. That would get rid of the watermark in the corner that I currently have on my computer, and it would just open up all the features of Smart Notebook that you might have in your school computer and think, hey, where'd this go? So you would just go up again to account and log in with your school account, and that would give you the access to the full version of Smart Notebook. So when you're in Smart Notebook, you have your pen options right here. And again, compared to Smart Learning Suite Online, instead of just having 4 colors, you now have your crayons, your highlighters, all of those features. The text pen, so if you have really bad handwriting like me, you could write, or if you're using your mouse, you could write. It will read the handwriting and translate it to text. So those are just all great features that you have when you use Smart Notebook as a whiteboard. So the next whiteboard I am going to show you is the Whiteboard.Fee, and then we'll end with Google. So Whiteboard.Fee is that one I just told you about that's pretty brand new. As you can see, you have 2 options right now. You have a new class or a join class. Your students would click join class and you would click new class. Now, it doesn't require you to log in. It doesn't require you to do anything. You don't even need to put a real name. You could put your name as ABC for all you know. There is no accounts. As I said, once you close out of this website, everything is deleted. So you will notice that it gives you a website under My Class, and it says your students can access the class by visiting, and it's whiteboard.fee/your 3-digit classroom code. Your students could also go directly to whiteboard.fee and type in that 3-digit code. What you as the teacher would do is click on My Whiteboard, and now as you can see, you have your tools on the left. So I can click a pen, choose how thick I want the writing to be, and I can change my color. And as you can see, you have lots of color options. Then I can come in here and I could write my message. Now, if I had a math problem, the students on their whiteboard are not going to see my whiteboard within theirs. They will have a plain blank whiteboard, but then they can click my whiteboard, or it will say teacher whiteboard, see the problem, go back to their whiteboard, and fill it in. As the teacher, I would actually start to see all of my students populating under My Class. They would not see themselves, and again, because there are no accounts, they can put a fake name. So you would have to make sure you explain to them, put your name, or if your school uses some kind of code instead, you can tell them to put like their 6-digit class code or whatever. When the class is over, I would recommend taking a screenshot because again, once you close out, it will delete everything. Nothing is saved. And that's the reason why I said this is a good one if you just need something fast and you don't want to save anything. So now the last option is the Google Jamboard. I do know that someone in the chat already asked about Google Jamboard. Where do you find it? So we are going to look at that right now. When you are in your Google Classroom, or in your Google Drive, I should say, you will see an option that says New. And then there's always that pull-off menu that says More. If your school district has enabled it, underneath More, you will see Google Jamboard. If Google Jamboard is missing from the More, it means that your school has it turned off on the back end. So you would need to talk to your school district's IT department to see if they can turn that on. Every school district is different about what they have on and off, so I can't tell you if your school district will turn it on or not. When you go to the Jamboard, it's going to open up a blank document. And just like all other Google documents, you are going to have that ability to share the file. When you share a Google Jamboard, you have the option of edit only or view only, edit, all of those type of things. So you will see there is a pen, an eraser, your select arrow. You have sticky notes. So if you wanted to leave a small post-it note on the message, you could add a small post-it note. As you can see, it's right there. If I use my arrow key, I can move it around the screen. I can make it bigger or smaller. If I go to my pen, I have a different option of a thin pen, a marker, highlighter, paintbrush. I can pick my color. And then again, I'm just going to use a math problem as the example. So right there is how you can just write on the board directly. You can add extra slides to it. So if you have a second, if you need more stuff, you can add blank slides. And you could also put a background. So these are all the different things you can do on Jamboard. Just like any other Google document, make sure you name the file. And you can keep going. That laser pointer that I showed you about or told you about, just to demonstrate it, as you can see, it just draws a red line and then it disappears quickly. So those are the different whiteboard options that are available. If anyone
That looks like Corey may have bumped something, but I think what she was going to say is she'll probably be right back. My guess is she's going to say, please feel free to put any questions in the chat section. We'll be happy to answer those. She'll get back to you. Corey's a great resource for all. And
I'm so sorry about that. I accidentally closed the window, but
there she is.
I apologize that I went to close out of the Google Jamboard. Instead, I closed out of the Google Meet. So I apologize for that. Yes, Nancy, this video is being recorded. So as soon as we are done here, I will be downloading it from the Google Drive folder and uploading it to YouTube. The link will be put onto the resource page, and you can find that on bit.ly/visualsound031. I just posted it into the chat box for you. Any other questions about the different whiteboards or anything that you might be curious about how to work something? I am here for you. So anything that you need, you can come off of mute to ask your questions. You can type them in the chat box. It is up to you.
I'm not on video.
Will any of those programs allow you to record? So the programs themselves do not have recording built in. If your school is using Google Classroom or Google Drive, or I am so sorry, I'm naming off every Google product except the one I mean. If you're using Google Meet like we are right now, the ability to record is something that they have temporarily turned on for all school district accounts. If you look, and I'm putting the slide on top of the slide right now, when you see your menu, you'll have those triple dots on the bottom, and that option to record will be within the triple dot menu. Any other questions? I have thank you for your resources. You are very welcome. Which whiteboard option allows you to import a PDF? I would say the Microsoft Whiteboard is the one that definitely allows you to import the PDF. If you are using Smart Notebook, you can also import PDF to Smart Notebook.
Corey, did you see the one about upload a PDF to Jamboard?
I did not see anyone ask about PDFs to Jamboards. Unfortunately, I do not believe you can, but we can check that right now. If you haven't already and you would like to receive resources after this session, please just make sure you're leaving your email address in the chat box. That way I can send out all the resources. Once this is done, once the webinar is uploaded to YouTube, it will be on our resource page. If you give me one moment, I can post that link in the chat room again. All right, so let me open up that demo Jamboard again. Now, the other thing I would like to point out is I am using a touchscreen computer with a stylus right now. So if you are using an iPad or anything and you don't have a stylus, you can use your finger. Obviously, it does work. I personally like the feel of holding the stylus. All right, so you can insert pictures to Jamboard, but you can't insert PDFs. There is no option for that. There are background options, though, that I didn't show you. So you can do your dotted background, line paper, grid paper, change the color to blue or black. Oh, look, they actually call it chalkboard. So you can change the background, but no, unfortunately, you cannot import a PDF. If you would like to import a PDF to Jamboard, what I would recommend is taking a screenshot and then using the screenshot as an image file.
Couple more here, Corey. I don't know if you're catching them all. You're probably not. Try to open Jamboard, said not compatible with Google. Question mark.
Jamboard's not compatible with Google. I have never heard that one, considering Jamboard is Google. I'm gonna be honest with you. I've never heard that problem before. What I would say is possibly the issue is your school district might have it turned off. So on the back end of Google, if you're the administrator for your district, there are a lot of toggle switches. Not everything is turned on by default. Basically, by default is your notebook or your slides, documents, spreadsheets. Everything else is a manual toggle switch. So if it is turned off, I can't guarantee your school district will turn it on, but you would just email your IT or your administrator and ask them if they can turn it on for you. Theresa asked, can I use a Samsung phone? You can use any device with internet access for, I'd say, 90% of these products. I don't know if Microsoft Whiteboard has an app for devices, but you can use 365. So if you were going to be using a phone, even an iPad or an iPhone, I would recommend sticking with the cloud-based whiteboards. So your Jamboard, your Smart Learning Suite Online board, all of those options. Because if it's not cloud-based, it probably won't open unless there is a built-in app. Zoom has an app for Android and iPhones. So if you are using Zoom, then you can access the whiteboard on your Android phone. Any other questions coming in? Let me scroll down some more. Nope, I'm at the bottom of the chat, so there's no more questions at this point. Please feel free to keep asking those questions. And now that I'm looking at the math problem I wrote on the board, I hate when I do a sample product that ends with a fraction as the answer. But, you know, it is what it is when you make it up on the fly. You are very welcome. I am going to stick around for a few more minutes. If a question does come up, you are more than welcome to ask it. I appreciate everyone's time today. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, this session will be uploaded to our YouTube channel. And if you need to find the resource, it is the link that I posted a second ago, thevisualsound.com/training remote learning. And all of the videos are at the very bottom where it says view archived webinars. That will take you to the YouTube channel. I just saw somebody. If I want to use my iPhone to screen share in a Zoom session, what do I pull up on my phone? So you would go to the iPhone store, I was about to say the iPhone store. You would go to the App Store and download the Zoom app. And that is how you would do it. The same thing with the Android phones, there is an app for Zoom. You are very welcome. I'm going to end the recording now, but I will be sticking around if you have any more questions.